Yo, welcome back, traders. Hopefully, you had a wonderful weekend and you're staying warm. I know it's gonna be a bad winter for crypto. It's gonna be a bad winter for probably a lot of risk assets here, but specifically crypto. All right, I'm just getting my link out here. I'm a little late tonight. Okay. Yep. Yeah, so we've been talking about how Tether, breaking this range here would cause a capitulation event. So it's very clear now that Tether is now out of this range, and we can expect lots more downside. After this range break, there probably will be some sort of bounce or relief rally or something, I would suspect, whenever this concludes. We'll take a look at some levels and some things like that. But however, right now we are we can pull up the Bitcoin chart. It is going to be pretty ugly for Bitcoin. So we actually, you can clearly see it. It's actually a head and shoulder structure with a lower right shoulder into these major moving averages. And, we're right at, we tagged the neckline here over the weekend, like the 75 region. Yeah, but barely really any wick. So that just goes to show you and tell you that it's not strong. This neckline's not going to hold up very well. Okay. And that goes to depict basically what Tether looks like, right? Tether just looks super bullish in a breakout. So when the dollar is super bullish in a breakout, there's no way that Bitcoin's really going to show really a lot of strength there at all. And so that's kind of what, we're looking at here. We are, maybe at a potential bounce zone. We have a big gap at 84K now. So we could bounce back to 84K or something and back test that region. Yeah, we'll see if we get it. I think we're basically just in a capitulation event right now across the board. Yeah. And our weekly RSI is down here at a 32. We're in the bearish control zone. These are levels that we've seen, during bear markets. But the really scary part is like the quarterly chart, right? And so, or even the monthly chart. So the monthly chart, Bitcoin usually puts a bottom somewhere along this downsloping RSI trend line. So we have a long ways down. And we could end up making a new low on this RSI trend line this time around. Okay. So that's kind of what we should be looking at for the longer term. You can see the monthly stochastics are pointing straight down and going into the bearish control zone. We're not like rounding out or curling back up. We're just pointing straight down. So this is, kind of crash city stuff. And, the 2 month here is all the way at the top. So we got all this momentum to go down. That is bad. Okay. This could be a pretty brutal bear market is what I'm concluding here. So the 2 month here, we have some major moving averages like right around the 70 to 74,000 region. Like I said, we'll probably get some sort of bounce there. I suspect we're just going to candle right through all that stuff without some sort of bounce. There's going to be a bounce. Yeah. So, but I can take off this this indicator here. The 2 month 200 week moving average is right on 46K. Okay. Now typically that's where Bitcoin has found bottoms. But what the scary part is if we look at the Bitcoin to gold ratio chart, Bitcoin should be already pretty much bottoming against gold, right? Based off the 2 month chart. The problem is that it doesn't really look like it's even close to doing that. It actually looks like it's got a ways to go down against gold. So there's that. The monthly RSI is like at a bounce zone here. So what that means is maybe gold pulls back harder than Bitcoin if they're all going to be going down against the dollar, right now. So yeah, we'll see how this really pans out. But it doesn't really look really like that good for Bitcoin right now. And gold obviously just looks like gold just made like a major top and is, you know, pulling back a bit. I don't necessarily think that this was the stone top on gold. But, you know, looking at your RSI here up here at 95, it would make sense that this gives a big drawdown first, right? There's no like bearish divergence or anything on gold, but it's just very extended on the RSI. And, you know, it could do something like this. Come back down to the 80 levels here, get a big pullback, and then go up again to make a new all-time high and make monthly bearish divergence, and that'll probably be the top for gold. But I think that'll be in months, maybe months later, okay? So something like that could occur for gold. And then the equities market, well, so let's look at the dollar real quick, because that's pretty important to watch for the equities market, because really the equities market goes up because the dollar is weak. So on the monthly time frame here, we tagged the 200 moving average here, which is that this is the monthly 200 moving average, which typically has acted as bottoms for the dollar in the past. There were periods of time in 2003 all the way up until like 2014 where we spent years below it. So there is a possibility that we could spend years below it, okay? Because if we go to, like, say, the quarterly chart here, you know, this just gave a bearish cross on the quarterly time frame, and this doesn't look very good at all for the dollar. So the dollar looks very weak on the high time frame charts, and the Fed isn't raising rates right now. So if the Fed's not raising rates right now, I don't really see the dollar doing some aggressive move up like that. Okay, we could see the dollar, you know, maybe go back to retest this 97 or even these regions here, which should bode well for risk assets, you know, in a later time, or even really the metals or, you know, other sectors of the markets. Crypto will only really get a bid once there's enough liquidity. We'll look at the Fed balance sheet here, because that kind of is the trigger for crypto, in my opinion. Okay, and we did get a weekly long signal on the Fed balance sheet here. The last time we really triggered one before a major event was in September of 2019, but it took basically the COVID event to trigger this money printing. So there's probably going to be some sort of major event within the next 6 months that triggers the Fed to print the money. Okay, I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be the banks that are going to go belly up, or something's going to happen, or whatever. But it's going to be something to trigger this money printing. Okay. So we're probably about 6 months out from that, I believe, anyway. Because if we continue to, I mean, you can't really do technicals on this chart, but you can see that there's, you know, we got the monthly MACD crossing here. I mean, obviously this is still way in bearish controls. It doesn't, we can't really do TA on this chart, but you guys get the point. We're probably at an area where the Fed is going to be starting to ease the markets, because maybe they don't want a complete collapse, right? Or the markets are already collapsing and then they're late, type of thing. So we'll see how it pans out. What's up, Toe? I'm talking to 3 people on the stream tonight. Well, hopefully everyone's enjoying what's going on here. Okay, so new candle open here on Tether, closing a breakthrough weekly bullish engulfing candle. Yeah, we might get a little bit of a pullback here on Tether or something here. Yeah, I don't know, maybe like halfway down on the candle, 6.94s or something. That's possible. That'll get us to that probably that $84,000 region where we gap down from, if we do get that right now. So I think that's kind of what's transpiring right now in these markets. We're obviously, you know, on the brink of a recession too. So, you know, all that stuff kind of culminating around the same time. And all that stuff happening isn't necessarily good for anything. But we're going to really see if Bitcoin really is going to be the asset that the future. Okay. Nice toe. Okay. So yeah, back to the Bitcoin chart here. The monthly major moving average here that I'm looking at, but we could get some range deviation. Okay. Yeah, this 40, it really would make sense that we would tag this region here on Bitcoin, this $46,000 region. Okay. I mean, this was like FTX collapsing and shit there. Yeah, so something's going to happen. There's going to be something that collapses or something that happens to cause the cascade. Maybe it's MicroStrategy. Maybe it's some of these other entities that were late to the party buying crypto assets. Something's going to occur, I feel. And so that's what's going to, drive the spot market way down to. There's always some news event that catalyzes this stuff, but we can see it happening on the chart already. So, yeah, and like the lower, range on this this indicator here is like right in that $40,000 region. So that kind of checks out, I would say. I don't think it's going to do anything more drastic than it's done in its past. We would hope that it actually does something less because we didn't really have crazy blow off top stuff, but we also were in a restrictive type of environment for Bitcoin this cycle, right? We were in a quantitative tightening environment. So yeah, very difficult for Bitcoin to kind of go make blow off tops and stuff like that. We could check ETH and SOL. Yeah, sure. ETH got hammered pretty hard, man. Yeah, 2287s here. Just broke below the weekly, its weekly 200-week moving average. Wow, it hasn't really done that, since the, I would say since this April crash here. Yeah, I mean, these areas here were, near lows for ETH during this cycle here. But it's very possible that, ETH comes back up to test the 2600 region here, gets rejected, and comes down to like 1600s. We could ultimately see ETH come down to the very bottom of the range as Bitcoin kind of comes off like that. Yeah, monthly time frame here on ETH kind of pointing down, this is interesting. We did a monthly cross up. I'm not really trusting that. Quarterly MACD kind of crossed back down here. Momentum is slated to the downside. Looks like a big drop coming here for ETH, given the current market situation. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, we can just go by the ranges that we have. The bottom of the range here is, like $1,000. I would probably say that this range is valid until it's no longer valid. Yeah, it could, dude. It very well could do that. Very well could do that. But a lot of people are thinking the same way, by the way. So we'll see. It all just ends up coming down to liquidity, right? For these assets. So what did I have drawn here? What the hell is this? I don't even know what that is. I think I was drawing this. That's what that was. That was the pennant or something that it was in. But it's now really, I don't know how you want to see this, but to me, you just look at it like the ranges here. And that's kind of what it looks like right now. I mean, the monthly, so like the bubble risk indicator is usually pretty good. I mean, these were all bottoms for ETH here. June 22. This was the April low. We haven't really even come close yet to this low here in April. But I think once you start getting to these levels on the bubble risk indicator on the monthly time frame, it's probably time to start snagging some ETH. Okay. You could even argue you could start maybe right now, starting to build a position as this goes down, because nobody really knows how far this is going to go. What could end up transpiring is something like this. We could get this like capitulation event down, and then this back test, and who knows, if we do break this range, that would be really bad, and that would be your $400 area. I'm not going to go ahead and say that that's something like that's going to happen, but man, anything can happen, right? Yeah, the bottom monthly Gaussian is like right around $1,000. I would say that that's probably where ETH is going. Yeah, I guess it could happen pretty rapidly too if they just let Bitcoin slide all the way down and ETH just slides with it. Yeah, and so this is also telling you that continuation down, and that's really it. We really just want to monitor, the tether chart, which, by the way, is actually drastically pulling back right now. Tether is pulling back right this very moment, so we could be bouncing pretty good. Gold, yeah, we can cover gold and silver. Let's see. All right, so gold tagging a couple of these major fib extensions here after this pretty historic breakout here for gold. Why is what happening? Why is gold and silver breaking out, or why is what happening, or just in general? Like, why is crypto crashing? Why can't we win? Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and call a top on gold. No, not yet. It's still so much in an uptrend that it's not done yet. We could see a massive pullback here though. Like, we could do something like this where gold maybe comes back down to like 3,800, makes a higher low here, and then pivots and rallies again and goes parabolic to like whatever, 7-8 grand or something. I could see that happening. Like I said, the monthly RSI, there's no bearish divergence on the monthly RSI. You're at the highest level on the RSI since, I don't even know, man, since 1973. Yeah, so there's no bearish divergence on the high time frame. What will happen is, we'll get a pullback or a massive drawdown or something on gold, and it'll pull back, and then it'll pivot, and then you'll make your bearish divergence for your new all-time high, and that'll be your blow-off top there on gold. But that could come months later, or maybe even a year later or something, because this is a monthly time frame. This could take a lot of time. Okay. And yeah, we could look at Polkadot, dude. Sure. Polkadot's probably absolutely wrecked. Let's see. Oh, at the stone range low. Nice, dude. Well, if that holds, that's great. I don't necessarily see how that's going to really hold. I mean, these are buy zones, man. Yeah, you want to be accumulate. If you like Polkadot, this is probably the time to be buying Polkadot. Yeah, I mean, what, the monthly RSI is sub 30 here. Yeah, it just, I don't know what's going on, man. I mean, if Bitcoin's really going to collapse like to 40 grand, I don't see how any of these altcoins are really going to hold up either. They're probably going to make new lows. Like what? If Polkadot breaks this range, I mean, where is Polkadot really going? Let's see. So we can get some downside targets here. We'd be in price discovery to the downside. So yeah, dude, if this breaks, we could see 55-cent Polkadot. Okay. That'd be absolutely ridiculous to see that. But there's no real pattern on Polkadot right now. This just looks like it's just been a dump, a bearish, you can see it, a bearish consolidation for like better part of a year. Like, the altcoin market's been in a bear market for like 4 years. So bearish consolidation and then a breakdown, and now you've concluded the breakdown, and now you're at the stone bottom of the range low. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you could maybe strategize like a scalp trade down here, or maybe even a trade back to like, you could try to trade this if you want. Stuff's pretty wrecked across the board. So pretty ugly right now in the crypto land. I wish I had better news. I wish I could be like, hey guys, everything looks bullish. No, it really doesn't. The breakthrough candle there was really the bad stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, the $50,000 region is where the 200-week moving average is. So that's always really a great time to buy Bitcoin historically. But we could for sure get deviations below. Okay. And that's, that's part of the game. We don't know how far really it's going to go. It can go into high 30s, like 38,000, 36,000. It could tag something like that. Like I said, we don't know what's going to trigger the capitulation event down there at the bottom like that. Like it could be like a sailor type of move where they have to offload a bunch of Bitcoin or whoever it is or whatever it is. I don't know what it's going to be. Last cycle, it was FTX collapsing, right? We don't have a lot of that right now, but we don't know, actually. We don't know what happened to a lot of those market makers that got wrecked in October on that liquidation event. I'm sure a lot of that's going to come out in the end of the bear market to start a new bull run. You know what I mean? So that's stuff to pay attention to. All right. I will say the daily RSI on Tether is overbought and could come down here. So we could get a little bit of a bounce and or relief here on some things. So we'll see how that pans out there. And so let's see if we get a bounce after this nasty freaking drop. And what could end up transpiring is something like this. We could see something like this, a pullback, like a back test after a breakout, and then a continuation type of structure, right? So after a breakout, you get a back test, right? That's typically what happens. So we'll see what happens after that. But if we look at monthly charts here, I will say that this is a very, very big resistance zone here for Tether, right? It's a lot of price action there, right? So it could take some time for this to bust through. The other thing I want to really discuss is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going on 7 green monthly candles here for Tether. That's insane. That is just complete, utter annihilation wipeout. Like if you saw any asset have 7 monthly green candles, like even gold probably has something similar right now, right? How many monthly candles in a row for gold? We turn this overbought thing off. So this was a red candle. So we start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So like, dude, we're probably going to get an effing pullback, right, on gold. Just like we probably should see some sort of drawdown or pullback on Tether too. Even though, yeah, okay, it broke out on the weekly, it broke out on the daily. Man, 7 green months in a row. Even like last bear market, we didn't have 7 green months in a row. We had, at least a couple months in between of relief or something, right? Like this is very aggressive. It's very, very aggressive. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the total chart, man, on the monthly time frame, this looks very scary. Okay, very, 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 very scary. Very scary. This is looks like a massive rising wedge. And, rising wedges, these aren't bullish structures, right? Once these start to break down, this could get very ugly very quickly for crypto. Now, we don't necessarily need to go to the bottom of the rising wedge. This would be a complete wipeout for crypto. Crypto goes to 0 if that happens. I'm not saying that. I don't believe that that's happening anyway. But it could be pretty bad. We could be going back down to this base here, like around this $1.2 trillion region, right, where we broke out of the bear market, even though altcoins have been in bear market for, well, better part of like 4 or 5 years now. But this is mostly the Bitcoin. This is mostly Bitcoin leading this, right? For total and stable coins. So. Yeah, so I don't know. I hate to be the doom and gloom guy, but I mean, when you see structures like this, it's a little scary, right? We're like in the midst of doing this right now, this type of move down. Like we didn't even get 2 months of relief rally like we got last cycle here. This was 2 months of relief. We didn't even get it. I'm not saying we can't get it. We might get it down here, though. We might get this and this back test, and then we get that, something like that. Just ugly stuff on the chart right now. Ugly stuff on the charts. We did tag the bottom Bollinger on the monthly. We didn't get this range deviation, though. That is interesting, actually. So we didn't deviate, though, outside the band. So we could just go up a bit and then roll back over is what we could do over the next couple months. And yeah, this monthly TSI cross here, this bad news, right? You get the TSI crosses here. These were all bear market stuff. All right, November, we crossed in November. Yep. So there you go. We haven't even crossed yet on the average sentiment oscillator yet. So this could get more aggressive to the downside here after these oversold bounces or mini rallies we're going to see before lower. But yeah, pretty ugly. Pretty ugly. But we are oversold on weekly time frames now on the RSI. A 28 reading. These were, I mean, if we're looking at weekly charts, these were pretty much at or near lows of market on the weekly anyway. And the 2-week time frame, yeah, we're not near those lows just yet on the 2-week, but we're close. This was the 2018 bottom. This was the 22 crash. Yeah, this is just going to be a bloodbath from what I'm seeing. Looks bad. Looks very bad. All right. Well, man, we got 5 people on. Make sure you guys post something in the chat. We're all here watching this painful price action. Appreciate everyone kind of sticking with me here through the bear markets and the bull markets throughout the years. So I guess what you really want to watch is the coins that are holding up the best during these crashes, because if they're performing well during a bear market, that means they might really outperform during a bull market. So keep your eyes peeled for stuff that's outperforming Bitcoin in the bear market. If you can find them, those are probably going to do really well in the next bull run. So there you go. Bitcoin's getting the bounce. Yeah. And then the Bitcoin gold chart. So, pretty close to, or not close to, but like, I think we tagged like the gold to mean ratio. Yeah, for sure, man. Oh yeah, you followed me during the legendary 2021 bull market. Did you start following me when I did the 24-hour live stream or something? I'm just curious when you subscribed. So Bitcoin to gold actually is retesting the bear market breakout region here. So we'll see if they actually, if Bitcoin gets a bid here, and this is like I mean, I can't really foresee this being some sort of fake out, man. Not with those momentums the way they look. Oh, nice, man. That's awesome. Appreciate you continuing to tune in. I haven't seen you on the channel in a while, man. So glad to have you back. But we can see the monthly super trend flipping here, which is bad, right? On the 3-week, and right at the monthly super trend right now. So yeah, Bitcoin should bounce here against gold, meaning gold should drop off, and Bitcoin maybe bounces here at this level, or right at the neckline of that massive head and shoulders pattern that we're in development right now, and that bear flag that we broke down from. So we could see, it's possible that we could see Bitcoin gold trade back up to the 17s, this region up here. I mean, this looks like maybe a lower time frame double bottom or something happening. This is low time frames though. Yeah, so 4 hour, yeah, maybe. We're right on a Fibonacci level here. So this could be something. I would you can draw this trend line right here and see how far up we can go against gold here. Maybe a 12% move potentially. We could just end up making a lower high here and roll over again. But I think the monthly time frame was like really close to being in the zone, man. Like this to me looks like it's in the zone against gold already. Like that's where you would want to see Bitcoin start outperforming gold. Monthly time frames are pretty what's the word? Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we're not like firing or anything like that on the wave trend. We could just go all the way down on the monthly wave trend if gold just continues going parabolic and shit just remains the way it is in these markets. But yeah, we'll see how that pans out. It feels like we should just be getting some fucking relief right now. Like this market is wrecked. It is wrecked. But I mean, the tether chart is just very, very strong, man. Very, very strong. There's nothing about this that is like really bearish. Okay, I mean, yeah, you got this going on right now. The monthly momentum is overbought. The 3-week time frame here is also overbought. The 2-week time frame is overbought. The weekly time frame, it pulled back and made a bullish cross. I mean, the weekly, yeah, I mean the weekly is dictating the momentum here. Okay, but the 2-month here is scary. This is giving you a 2-month buy signal on tether. Okay. All right. So I mean, we have this trend line here that I don't know, man. Like none of this really just looks good. It looks like this is going to continue higher. We got a 2-month clip here. You're coming into the 2-month squeeze. You're breaking out of it. Your monthly squeeze broke. Yeah, it looks bad across the board. But we'll see if we get some relief. We got a little bit of an early range band deviation here in January. So this could take a couple months to kind of materialize. We could get a relief rally in the next couple months. Like maybe into like April or March or something. Probably right before the new Fed chair. That makes sense. That we get a relief rally or something, and the new Fed chair is just a sell the news event because nobody knows what's really going to happen with that, right? So yeah, we'll see if we get some relief, guys. hopefully we get a little bit of that. You know, at minimum, you know, maybe retest this 6.8 region. I don't think that this is a fake breakout by any means. I think this was a real breakout. The weird part about it is it happened over a weekend. Usually you don't get weekend price action like that. Liquidity books were really thin. They want to manipulate price down. And I guess they really just want people selling their Bitcoin. That's what they want. So don't sell your Bitcoin. Hang on to it. Even though its nominal value is going down, you all know that longer term outlook here is that the dollar is going to shit. So there's that. I had this plotted as a rising wedge, but I had it on a different chart. I had it plotted as a channel. And I don't really know what is actually correct and what isn't. But to me, it does look like a rising wedge on the dollar. I mean, I guess. Let me look at a line chart. This is a quarterly chart. So let's see. It does look like a rising wedge. And it looks like the rising wedge broke down on a quarterly time frame here if you're using a line chart. So there you go. The dollar probably back tests that region, and it probably continues to break down. And the metals continue their run. We do have a CME gap to the upside. We have a couple gaps up there. We have an 84K gap and a 93K gap. I wouldn't say we're going to go past 93K. I don't think we're going to do that right now. But 84K should probably fill. So let's see. So the major resistance area here on Tether was here. We broke through it on the quarterly time frame. Yeah, it was actually right here. So if we look at quarterlies, your next quarterly candle here to look at is like that 8% region. And then the top of the quarterly candle are 8.826%. It just looks pretty bullet. Even the quarterly, look at the quarterly stochastics, man. Like, it looks like we're going to get absolutely annihilated in this market. Like, everything's just going to collapse type of thing. But I could be just being drastic, and I don't know. This is just the Tether chart, right? The dominance chart. Things can reverse pretty quickly on this chart too. If risk on assets become something that they want to be buying, that you'll see rotation happen very quickly, and things happen very rapidly in this market. So that's it. You know, weekly RSI went overbought for the first time here. We did go a bit overbought here in November, but we made a higher high. We also made a higher high on price. So there's no bearish divergence there on this little run up that we're having here on Tether. I did notice this RSI trend line here that we can kindly keep watching. So now we've tagged it again on the top side. And eventually what happens is we eventually get something like this, but then we probably do that. This might, if this happens, this is going to be our relief rally if this happens. Okay. So that's really it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show tonight. We covered a lot of details. If you guys have any questions about any of the things that I spoke about on the stream, make sure you drop a comment right now. I'm taking some live questions or comments or whatever you guys want to talk about. So go ahead. For sure, IJ Money. Dude, you always follow me, man. Every stream. You might be the most loyal subscriber I have, really, that I don't know personally. Really appreciate you always tuning in, man. Really do. There should be something I could give to like a subscriber on YouTube that's been following for, I don't know, man, what, years? So yeah, this is a region we want to continue to monitor. The RSI, the last time the RSI spiked like this to these levels was September of 2020. That was probably, I don't know, but we're up there on the weekly RSI right now. We're up there for sure. There's definitely going to be some good mean reversion trades. When this is all said and done, there's going to be. I don't like. There has to be. This is pretty insane. But yeah, I mean, you could see that Tether is just extremely bullish, man. On most time frames, weekly specifically, this looks like it's just going to continue higher. The 2-week is crossing back up. The 3-week, if the weekly and the 2-week are going to cross up, this is going to stay up here and probably cross back up on the 3-week. As you know, the monthly is up here. It'll probably just flatline for a while and stay overbought on the monthly. But this does bode well eventually for this to come down, right, on the monthly time frame. So we shall wait and find out and see how this plays out. But right now, it looks like garbage. Looks like garbage. I was trying to trade the Zora coin. I don't know if I'm going to stay in this trade or not, but yeah, I thought I was going to get a wedge break here on this thing. Yeah, so we had the golden pocket retracement on this. My entry is probably somewhere in the 2.7s. I bought into this move and I missed the sale because it happened so quickly, but this thing pumped, man. I just missed the sale. So I'm just wondering if I should just be exiting this or I should be holding this. I'm gonna watch this for a bit. This technically is a bullish engulfing candle on a volume spike, but that's a long wick rejection. This was probably a short squeeze is what I'm getting at. But we'll see if this holds. That is one big candle there. That was a big pump candle that I missed to get out of on that trade. That was 110% candle on this asset. I think this coin is actually not a bad coin. But yeah, I don't know. I had it drawn here as a bull flag, but it's really tough to be bullish in this market environment. But I had a setup on it, so I wanted to take. Look how oversold that RSI was. It was like a 13 and tagging a golden pocket. I mean, that was a good trade. I just didn't have time to exit. This still really looks good on the 3-day RSI. It looks like a massive falling wedge structure. The OBV looks really good here with volume, right? This looks like up on the volume, not down. A 3-day MACD cross impending, which also looks like momentum shift on the MACD. I mean, tough to be bullish on an altcoin right now, but that looks pretty interesting to me. It may not result in anything crazy, or maybe that was the move and that was it, which is very possible. This didn't break the channel. It got rejected, and now it's also continuing its drawdown. But the 3-day stochastics were ticked up on the Heiken and She candles here, which is what I was looking at, this divergence here setting up. So I'm going to give this maybe a little bit more time. Maybe this can actually push higher, this asset. If we start taking out this candle down here, I'm probably going to cut this trade. But for now, I think I'm going to stay in this trade. I don't like the long wick. That is definitely not something I like to see. Okay. Yeah, and that weekly candle, not so good either, that closure. But yeah, I mean, the weekly RSI also in the buy zone at a 37. This is where you want to be buying assets, not selling them. So yeah, I digress. I don't know what the hell this thing's going to do, but yeah, this is crypto right now. The 618 tagged the previous region here and got the spike. And that could have been it for this thing. So we'll see. See how this goes. If we do get relief, then it's very possible that this actually can maybe have some sort of continuation and this be a profitable trade. I do not recommend you guys to be leverage trading this market right now. It's very volatile. Oh, USOR. Yeah, we can look at it, man. Sure. You know what I thought was maybe a good stock? USOR. Is that a crypto? It's a crypto, right? Is that like a meme coin or something? Oh, this thing is wrecked, bro. This is probably a scam, man. This coin? 78K in liquidity and it just rugged like 60%. It's probably like one of those memes that moves with the oil, and oil probably just got hosed. Yeah. Oil looks interesting, though. There is monthly bullish divergence on oil. That is interesting. Okay. No breakout yet on oil, but man, that's at a level right now that you could really see oil kind of break out there. Okay. Excuse me. That would signal all sorts of signs for recession too, by the way, if oil breaks out. The target for oil would be up here at $114. But it could actually maybe go a lot higher because if you look at this structure, it's like almost like a massive complex inverse head and shoulder structure when you got like a falling wedge here. Yeah, the target's this neckline up here. So you could do something like this and eventually go nuts. I don't know when that's happening, but that kind of looks like it would do something like that later on. We'll see how it pans out. All right. Anything else you guys want to look at? There were some stocks that I like, by the way. If the metals continue going, Goro is looking pretty good down here. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes pattern. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the oil chart is definitely in a setup, high time frame. Trump's coin got 500 million in Saudi funding right before the iron. Is that good? Is that's the WLFI coin, right? Yeah. What is that chart looking like right now? Looks like shit. Those Saudis must be kind of upset right now. I mean, they probably don't even care. $500 million is like a drop in the pond. for those guys. Anyways. Yeah. Let's look at Trump's coin, man. Yeah, bro. Trump meme coin, man. Where is that? How do I get that? Coinbase has the chart. It almost did what I drew. It didn't even make it halfway to that. Yeah. See at $3. See at $1, maybe $0. Yeah, looks awful. Looks terrible. All this stuff looks terrible. Anyways, like I was saying, I was looking at Goro, the stock Goro. They have zero debt. They are a silver, gold, and copper miner. And I think this stock might have some legs. Do your own research on this stuff, right? But okay, it's probably coming into a bit of resistance here right now. This region here is obviously the back part of this breakdown region. It's testing it and rejecting it for now. But look at this volume coming in here. So I think, okay, maybe, short term here we get this drawdown. Maybe it goes back to 60 cents or maybe this 76-cent region. And I think you could eventually break it. Because if you look at like the quarterly chart, it just looks really good. Quarterly momentum looking nice. Quarterly RSI around 43. You can see that MACD is starting to go up there. We'll look at Netflix. I was liking Netflix maybe for a short-term trade, but you can obviously see the quarterly time frame here is ticking down. Quarterly also rolling over, about to roll over there on the quarterly. The monthly also on its way down to crash Cityville. The weekly is what I was really looking at. Kind of flatlining here on momentum on the weekly. So I was looking for maybe a short-term bounce on Netflix. The weekly RSI is sub 20. I mean, that is wrecked, dude. That is wrecked. Okay. And you're at a pretty big spot on the chart here. You're right at this kind of inflection zone, this $80 to $84, $85 region. But yeah, I guess the real level to watch on Netflix is this $70 level. If this kind of, what I was projecting is if we make like a head and shoulders type of structure where we get this kind of move out, and we get this move out and it makes a lower high and then it breaks down. So something like that for Netflix, like $70 eventually, 60, $70. Could go lower than that, but that just, I mean, this zone right here, obviously is where it broke out from. So this would be the retest of this previous breakout. Maybe everything is just collapsing or something. Then, maybe we get one of these down to $30. Yeah, this monthly moving average here is usually, pretty good for putting in the lows on Netflix, historically anyway. Right. We had a little bit of range deviation here on the 3-week time frame. I'm just trying to give you a visual of where the bottoms would usually come in for this asset in a major uptrend like this. So yeah, like no double top or anything, just made a top and just rolling over. That's fine. I mean, there's no confirmation of like a double top or anything like that on Netflix. I think it's a very strong company. They're not going anywhere. It actually just looks like a nice long-term channel up is what it looks like. And yeah, the bottom of the channel, that would be right around that 60-something dollar region where you would probably get a big bounce. And you could stay range bound here for a while before you get the next leg out or the next whatever into like 2028 or 2029, something like that. We could be stuck in a range for a little bit. I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm just giving you an idea of what it could do. Yep, Moderna. We called out Moderna down here, actually, around $27 a share. I think I actually posted this on my TradingView account. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Yeah, I called it out in May of last year. $26 a share. This was the projected move I put for Moderna here. Push the play button. So it actually broke and then retested. And it's got up to about $54 a share since I posted this this trade on TradingView. Cool. So yeah, Moderna in a big bull flag. It's very clear. Once this breaks, it's probably gonna go a lot higher. The quarterly here is in the buy zone at 46 on the RSI. It's attempting to break its channel here. No break just yet on Moderna, but I would say once this does break and hold, Moderna is doing something like this. It's a big flag pattern. Right, something like this longer term. I would just look for the move back up to the top of the range. But if it's truly a bull flag, it'll actually make a new all-time high. So. And I don't know long-term where it's going. I mean, I don't know if it's going to $1,000 a share. That'd be nuts, but anything's possible. Yeah, and the quarterly stochastic RSI cross. This is like long-term type of swing trade stuff, but pay attention to the breaks. So if this doesn't break, maybe you don't want to buy it. You want to buy it once it breaks the channel, okay? Or if you were trading the bottom of the channel, you want to trade it to the top of the channel, right? So you want to be taking profit here until you actually see it break. Right now, it actually got rejected here. The weekly did go long, so this could just be a pullback before later on breaking the channel. And then you're looking at this weekly 200-week moving average, which is around $75. If you start reclaiming $75, well, that's when you're really going to start a major trend reversal for Moderna. Okay, that's a huge trend shifting region there. This level right here, the $75 level. Silver looking like it's trying to bounce here. I assume gold is probably still coming off. Yeah, so if you look at the gold to silver ratio, silver is still very cheap relative to gold, okay? And I would assume platinum is also probably going to get a bid too because it's cheap versus silver. Still, well, I think this ratio comes down more. So maybe silver outperforms platinum here to about this 19 ounces or whatever per silver. And then you maybe want to rotate into silver down there on that ratio. Yeah, something like that. And Tether is relentless. It doesn't even want to fucking pull back. What a joke. It's just consolidating up here. It's very strong. Very strong Tether. So yeah, so much for the bounce. We're not even getting it. It's just going to get rejected here, it looks like. That sucks. We do have some hourly, I guess. I don't know, momentum maybe pointing up here on the hourly. 4 hour, we were, look at all these triggers on the counter trends here. We're triggering counter trends left and right now on Bitcoin. Yeah, but we're right at a demand zone. I would suspect we would at least go back up to 84K to test that before going a lot lower. And this is the neckline here of this head and shoulders pattern. And it's really awful chart. Looks really bad. And this is breaching a 10-year or 13-year trend line. That is bad. The major zone you really want to be paying attention to is like this $60,000 level right here, this level. Once we start taking out these wick lows here on these wicks that we put in back here in March or April on Bitcoin. And then the Bitcoin to gold ratio chart, we discussed this earlier in the stream, but cool. We still got some people on. I mean, if you guys want to continue to talk about some charts and stuff, please post them in the chat. I'm all ears to look at some other assets and other asset classes aside from crypto. Crypto market looks like shit. Copper, yeah. So let's first look at the copper to gold ratio because that's very important. Historically, when copper outperforms gold, that's when we would typically get our bull markets for crypto, or at least in the past anyway. Yeah. We triggered the monthly here, and every single time we've done that in the past, these triggered bull markets for crypto. This was the 2020 run up. You can see the copper to gold ratio topped out here in this was in May of 21. I think that was Bitcoin's first top, and then it retested that top in October of 21, which was the at or near the second retest for Bitcoin. This low here was October of 16. We had the 2017 bull market, and that was one of the greatest bull markets that Bitcoin's ever seen. December of 2017 was basically the top, and then January 18 was the top for the alts right after that. So very interesting correlation between the copper to gold ratio when it comes to crypto market. We only have a couple base cases to look at because Bitcoin's a relatively new asset class. So who knows if this is going to continue to play like that, but if it does, the copper to gold ratio monthly RSI is at a 24, man. So we would really need to see copper rally hard against gold. Gold needs to cool off a bit and copper needs to run. But it doesn't look like that's happening right now. Actually, it looks like copper is also pulling back a bit. That quarterly candle doesn't really look too good right now. That's not good. So let's see. So this was 2020. That was copper's run. This was 2009. Where was the 2016? Okay, so this was the 2017 bull market. This was the 2017 bull market. This was the 2020 to 2021 bull market. We're getting screwed, man. Like this was 2022. I don't know. I mean, I guess if the metals are all topping out, then it makes sense that everything's just going to come crashing down. So if this is the top for all of it, then copper's doing this and gold's doing that too, I guess. I don't know. That sucks. I don't know, man. I don't know. Copper looks like it's got maybe some room. Unless that was it. If it breaks that, it can go to like 95 on the RSI. That would send copper a lot higher than where it is right now. Copper did break a quarterly squeeze. It's up there though. Yeah, brutal. It looks brutal across the board. We pray for copper to run, man, because that's gonna maybe ignite us a potential bull run for crypto. Actually, there's lots of correlation between that. We just discussed that. So hopefully copper runs. All right, that's really all I got for this evening. I'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully we see a little bit of bounce action, maybe this week. But yeah, in general, it looks really awful in the crypto market right now. So we bottomed. You've been saying that. We've been saying it. You think this is a fake range break? You think this is just going to reverse? Man, I mean, it's very possible we get a relief rally or something coming here shortly, but I'm not calling a bottom. And no, I'm definitely not calling a bottom right now. It does not look like bottom stuff. This looks like we got room to go way down. We got room to go way down, man. It looks like we're doing what I drew, something like that, something on that order. I hope it doesn't go all the way back down to, that would be absolutely catastrophic. That would be terrible. Nobody would ever want anything to do with crypto ever again. We did get this monthly early buy signal here in January on the total crypto market cap, but this is also including stable coins. So I don't know if that's even really good to look at. Let's look at total 3. That might be good. This is like the altcoin market. Oh yeah, so we broke this structure here that I had drawn. So likely it's coming down to like here-ish. That's gonna be pretty painful, man. Another 30-something% drawdown across the altcoin market. Yeah, something like that. We could even go lower, man. We could actually end up breaking that and go way lower. That's the scary part. But this is that's going to be a major level that I have drawn there. Bubble risk indicator is entering. So these were capitulation zones. We're not quite doing that just yet, but we're almost doing that. My problem is that this wave trend is nowhere near, like it's nowhere near like in the zone to even look to buy on the monthly. The weekly's getting there. The weekly's getting there. Still got room to go down. Lots of room to go down. And the quarterly, I don't think I have enough data for the quarterly, but you could see that the quarterly is just now crossing the MACD here line with a sell signal. So we got a ways to go down here, folks. That's rolling over on the quarterly. The 2-month coming into the bullish control zone, but you have a lot of separation on that 2-month. That's what caused this big dump right here, the separation. Okay. All right, that's pretty much all I got tonight. Stay safe. I'll catch you guys next week, and we'll continue to monitor these markets and levels, and hopefully we can continue to provide some more value here for you guys. All right, have a great week.
Hey everyone, you've landed on the Swing Trade Pros website here. My name is Mr. Know-It-All. I've been an active swing trader for over 7 years. I want to welcome you guys all to the community here. My goal is to change 1 million people's lives with swing trading and trading profitably. This is a skill set you can learn here with the service. You go check out the testimonials in Discord. You can see lots of folks talking about the service and how the trade calls are super profitable. You can check Profit Gains channel. I think we've amassed around $150,000 worth of profits in the last year posted in the Profit Gains channel just from other users and traders in the community. I'd like all of you guys to check out the 14-day free trial. A coupon code will be pinned in the comment section below this video, so check it out. And we'll take you through 14-day free trial process here. You come down to the website, save 44%, and claim your 14-day free trial. Click on that. And that will take you to the Swing Trade Pros website where you can click sign up now. And after your 14-day free trial is up, on the 15th day you will get billed, full disclosure of that. And I appreciate you guys all joining the community. It will change your lives. Give it a chance. A lot of these swing trades can take months. One of our biggest trades of the year last year was INJ. We took an entry at $1.60, and well, that asset's trading over $35 today. So that was one of the banger trades that I pointed out. My strongest pattern that I trade that I'm known for is the falling wedge. I call it the falling node wedge pattern. Lots of divergence on these charts. And that's what makes these patterns really play out. And you guys are going to be able to really learn that in the service. And I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys on the charts.